Good day, all my wonderful friends. Today I was just thinking about, and so I want to talk about the wealthy. And if you know history from like Rockefellers and shit, like they did a lot of scandalous stuff, like stuff you wouldn't really fathom, and stuff we're trained not to think that wealthy people would do, really underhanded things. And just driving on the 91 freeway in the middle of the day, you really think like there wouldn't be a lot of traffic, and yet there is. And I'm just like, why does this take place? And because of, who I am and then my knowledge of history, I started thinking about people that would want it that way. And of course, they diverted a bunch of funds from, federal funding of highways, and just generally their funds go to special interests. People that have the money can do the most to secure that line of wealth from the taxpayers, whether it be misinforming, like Kamala Harris was just found out that it came out in court documents that she didn't want the population of California's prisons to be reduced because it would cut out cheap labor of nonviolent felons. And what they're most likely talking about is the fire system in California, where they basically have fire slaves. They indoctrinate these guys, these kids. They give them a little bit of like carrot in the stick type of thing. They haze them. If you know psychology, like the hazing effect. They make it hard for them to get in there. And once they're in there, they don't really give them that much. Treat them like slaves, but feed them good, and still give them enough so where they can make themselves feel good about it. But anyways, I'm pretty sure that's what Kamala Harris was talking about, because generally each prisoner costs $50,000 a year to the state taxpayer. So that's not cheap labor. I mean, they're still at a cost of $50,000 per inmate. The only place that it becomes viable is when you're talking about the prison, slave labor that goes on. But that's kind of a sidetrack. But at the same time, that's just an example of how capital can influence the message. She only hears one side. She doesn't hear how much it's costing. I mean, it's the number one biggest bill to the state of California are the prisoners. But that's a side note. But anyways, going back to the traffic, we have the 91 express lanes, where people have to pay, wealthier people or companies, employees can pay to not be stuck in that traffic. So now that company has a motivation to create traffic on the 91 express lanes. They could pay people, they could pay truck drivers, they could just pay truck drivers, and there's nothing in the back of the truck, just to drive up and down that highway. The truck drivers could be completely oblivious to it, and yet they're creating traffic. That's just one example. I'll pick it up later. I want to give context into why I was talking about the toll road company. And the thing is, it was like 2016. There was a 6-month or so period where you had to, every time, say you did not want a toll road, or Google Maps would give you a toll road. More recently, I was in an area that I knew the quickest route, and yet I put it on Google Maps anyways, and it gave me this alternate direction. I knew for a fact it wasn't faster. So I went the way I was previously going to. Not only that, I timed it to see if Google Maps was indeed correct. And the thing was, it had said like my way would be 4 minutes slower. By the time 4 minutes had passed, I was way down the freeway. Like, there's no way. The other route would have taken me further. I was already on the freeway, on the same freeway that the other route would have taken me. So that seems suspect. And the difference was, it was taking me the way it wanted me to go. It was taking me to a commerce area, an area where I would, there's a lot of shopping centers, the Tustin Marketplace. So, I could have stopped to eat, I could have stopped to buy something, it doesn't know that. So it directs me to a way, and I'm pretty sure they've made a deal with the Tustin Marketplace. I'm pretty sure they made a deal with the toll roads. For like a year, you had every time say you didn't want toll road, and of course it sent me to a toll road, and so it charges me a few dollars. But they're doing that all around the world, or all around the country, or all around the state, or even all around just Southern California, whatever it is, it's going to generate millions of dollars because they're doing it to everybody. So that's just what I want to say. In the middle. It's really a problem that you see through history, starting from what I remember, Rockefeller, and probably further back, like when they created a corporation, when they went around funding colonialism in America. But that's a little off subject. But anyways, it could happen. There could be a company, a subsidiary, or a company related to the express lanes that just pays truck drivers to drive up and down with empty payloads, not very expensive, tells them to keep the speed limit below 55. All they do is they drive down LA in the morning, they drive the other way, whatever. I'm not saying it's economically feasible. I haven't looked at the numbers. They might spend more gas than they decided that they would make in toll roads, but really, probably not. It's probably a good idea. Are they doing it or not? I don't know. Is it illegal? I don't think so. It would be a scandal, but who's going to investigate it? Police don't investigate that shit. They only investigate what poor people do to try to make themselves feel or be better, basically. I mean, generally speaking, street cops, they're not going to investigate it. And this sort of thing goes all the way back to like the Austrian-American, well, Jewish Austrian-American, I believe he was, Edward Bernays, the nephew of Sigmund Freud, if I'm not mistaken. He was a very good psychologist, but a very bad person, very, very bad actor. Behind as far as I know, fluoridation in water, you know, to kind of hide it being leaked from certain mines. But he was behind like women smoking and all of these other bad things. It just kind of laid the groundwork for really good propaganda in America. So anyways, what they're doing is they're creating a need, a perception of a need. They're creating a desire. You know, whatever it's a medical industry showing hyper suggestive commercials, if it's a sneaker industry, if it's a designer clothing industry, they make you feel like you're not going to be sexy enough, you're not going to be healthy enough, you're not going to look good enough, you're not going to feel good enough, you need this product. A lot of the tactics they use are tried and true, going back to Edward Bernays. The thing is, they're not doing things ethically. They're not doing what ethically will benefit the person. What they're doing is what will fill their pockets. And that's something consistently you'll see when big organizations want to continue to exist or want to continue to thrive. They start doing underhanded things. NATO should have been disbanded when the Soviet Union was, and that was our word. And that's the thing. As America, we're just breaking so many treaties, man. Like, we're not ethical whatsoever. So the thing is, the American public continues to feel like American government's ethical, but the people that control the government, they're playing both sides. They're playing Democrats, Republicans, they're playing old people, younger people, old perception, new perception. So let's break off the INF treaty. Let's break out of the Iran nuclear deal because they're supporting Hezbollah, which not everyone says Hezbollah is a terrorist organization, and they do a lot of good things. Or let's pull out of Iran because whatever. It's just made up. They're not respecting the spirit of the deal. That's what sort of, I mean, give us some real evidence that they're doing what you left it up to spirit when you created a fucking treaty with a foreign country regarding nuclear weapons. It's all bullshit. Pulling out of Russia's INF Treaty, Intermediate Nuclear Forces. It's like the only good thing that Reagan ever did. He did a bunch of horrible stuff. Back to the basics education, stuff with the media, the Supreme Court backed fairness doctrine, eliminating that, eliminating social services, building up the prison budget, pushing the war on drugs to attack hippies, anti-war people, and oh no, that was under Nixon. But he's done a bunch of shit. He gave amnesty to illegals, all the Republicans that want to call him their poster boy. He's the first one that gave amnesty to illegals. Just about the best thing he did was, and he made a whole bunch of nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons are completely useless. They're only there to kill people. Do we all want to die? do we really have the right to destroy the whole fucking planet? Not like we're doing it anyways, but in the blink of an eye. And it almost happened like on 2 separate occasions. If it wasn't for some very courageous individuals, the world basically would have ended. And we want to proliferate that, and we want to celebrate Reagan that poured all this wasted money into nuclear weapons that do not benefit. We could have had schools, we could have had wider roads, we could have had renewable electricity funding research, but instead we have billions that went in nuclear weapons and went around exploding them from here to the Marshall Islands, causing 500,000 Americans to die right here, testing those fucking things. 500,000. So how many people need to die for democracy? Here around the world, we need to have these arms to protect you. 500,000 of you are going to die. The American military has been found out that they really hate traffic. We don't have to have traffic, but they just don't give a fuck about us. They rather spend money on the F-35 on war, where their friends can go and get contracts to steal the resources, and we're just sitting here stuck in traffic like fucking sheep, like lemmings. Is what it is. And so I do get sidetracked when I come to complete stop. It's hard for me to talk. It's hard for me to keep my train of thought because the frustration just boils in me. But anyways, going back, the INF treaty was like the only good thing Reagan did. And you got dumbass Trump, and I'm just fed up with them. Just pulling us out. It's the worst fucking thing. What Reagan did was the worst thing. It's criminal. So, like I said, 500,000 died here. We were testing it on people in the Marshall Islands, just seeing what it does. Agent Orange in Vietnam, birth defects. You got Hiroshima, when the Japanese already wanted to surrender. They just wanted to keep their emperor, which we already allowed them to do anyways after the fact. After we bombed them, radiated them. You have MIT finding that the heating of the upper atmosphere before these earthquakes. You have research into HAARP, microwaving the atmosphere. You have atmospheric aerosol injections, where they can put particles up there and beam those microwaves back down and maybe cook the earth and crack it like an egg. I mean, you got so much bad shit going on. In the name of what? For democracy? 500,000 Americans dead from nuclear testing alone. You have what? 7,000 or something dead from Iraq, 60,000 from Vietnam, and that's not counting the millions of Vietnamese and the people born with defects, born with messed up chromosomes, forever sabotaged. And we're doing this for our good, the good of the people, sending radiated freaking rounds into Iraq, giving people cancer, prostate cancer. It's all exploding. We're killing whales. The sonar is too loud for the whales. American military has been given the approval to kill millions of marine organisms. All for what? We're the good guys? This is what we fight for? We just have to keep on killing people and subjugating South America like we did in the first 9/11, and Peru, country after country, like we did in the Middle East, to steal their oil, like we're allowing like we did in America with the natives, like we're allowing Israel to do. We're always the good guys no matter what we do. Like, it's all a joke. And we cannot trust the politicians. They are traitors to the American people, to the American government. We cannot trust these large corporations, privatize roads, privatize water, privatize anything. We can't trust anything. You can't trust the labels anymore. The EPA, not only has Trump gutted them, but they were pretty much worthless before, only testing a fraction of the chemicals that hit the market every year. We have the highest rates of cancer, higher than China. Like, people need to wake up. We're being poisoned. They don't care about us, and we got to be on guard. That's it. Everyone have a wonderful day, and have fun, right? We do live in a great time. It could be a lot better, that's the bottom line, but compared to what our ancestors went through, it's pretty damn good. Could be a whole of a lot better. We all could be basically living like millionaires, but that would make the millionaires not feel so special. So they rather just destroy the world in the meantime and keep us oppressed, keep the economy, suck the money, keep it going into military, so we all just strive like little rats on the wheel, even though automation, everything's increased since the 1970s. Worker productivity's increased, but that excess capital just went to the rich. All the other jobs that got cut out, everyone's sidelined. They're now poor pieces of shit, too lazy to get a job, whatever. They get labeled, they get, kicked out of the housing the housing market in 2008, and we have enough money just invested in the F-35 alone, the backwards jet, to have saved all of the people that were foreclosed on in 2008. But instead we bailed out the banks that did it, the Big Short. This is the world we live in. They're using us, they're using all the people in the world. They use patriotism. They use patriotism to create blind flag waving. But come on, supporting the troops is not supporting them to fucking go kill people based on lies. It's supporting them by fighting for them, for fighting for truth, and not sending them into countless unwinnable, forever long wars. As we're sitting in traffic, you want them to go spend money on the military so they can shoot weapons, and then when they come here, they're homeless and stuck in the same traffic we are. This is what we're fighting for. Anyways, just regular old rant. Hope y'all like it. Hope y'all have a wonderful day. I'm stuck in traffic. Hope you're not doing the same. I want to supply some context too. So with the toll road company, there was a while back in like 2016, around that time, there was a good year where Google Maps made it so you had to, every time before this it wasn't like this, and after that it wasn't like this, but every time say that you did not want to use a toll road, or you would end up being sent to a toll road if that was, allegedly the quickest route. That's the thing with Google. I've seen it with Google Maps. I'm pretty sure I've seen recently where they give you a route that is not the quickest nor the fastest, but that sends you through a area of commerce, a place where you would do shopping. It tried to tell me that the other way was like minutes slower. So I went the other way and I tested it. And actually, by the time I was on the freeway,